Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome back to Spying Club TV. I'm your host, Iraola, and there's been a busy day of transfers, so let's get straight into it. And we're going to start off with the press conference tonight from Dominic Szoboszlai and Andoni Iraola over in America. And Dominic Szoboszlai was asked basically if anyone had surprised him during the training camp, and Dominic Szoboszlai basically said the youngsters have surprised him a great deal. They've impressed him very, very much indeed, with a very, very high level of training and a very high level of performance for such a young age. Dominic went on to say he already knows that senior players he's played with and with them, but the kids, they've delivered a really high level in the friendlies. There's still room to grow, which is a massive positive. He said, well, the players will recover, but it won't be the same 11 they used yesterday against the same 11 against Newcastle. That wouldn't be good for the squad, and it wouldn't be good for the team. The kids have impressed, but the squad will strengthen as the senior players return. Andoni Iraola spoke about centre-backs and injuries, and Andoni Iraola said he spoke about one of his players. He's in a very good state of mind mentally. He's in his first few days of training. He's in a good place, and he hopes that he starts strong. He was talking about Florian Wirtz, and then he went on to give an update on Joe Gomez, who had an injury and came off 7 minutes into the first game against Sunderland. He said it doesn't change the transfer plans. Liverpool are thin at centre-back, and they've only got Virgil van Dijk available. The only natural centre-backs they have are Mortella and obviously the young man who's going out on loan because he's not got a work permit, who basically looked like an 18-year-old Virgil van Dijk last night in Nduku. He's really, really good. But obviously he's going to go out on loan. Where he's going, we don't know yet. And Liverpool are going to have to be very, very careful here which club he goes out to, because obviously he needs playing time, he needs minutes, but he's got to come back and he's got to be ready to slot into that first team when he comes back in a year's time. But from what I've seen of him last night and the game against Sunderland, and he's the only outfield player to play all 90 minutes under Andoni Iraola, so that tells you something for a young kid at 18-year-old. I think they've got a real gem on their hands there, so Liverpool need to do the right thing here and select the right club for him to go out on loan, preferably Germany for me. I think he'd get game time there and he'd come back a better centre-half, that's for sure. Obviously, Iraola went on to say they're only natural centre-backs, and right now they've only got Mortella and the young man I've just spoke about. He said, but Liverpool will have to continue like this until the bodies recover and Jamie Jacquet is ready and Virgil will return soon. He said he was happy against the Sunderland and Wrexham. He said both good teams. Liverpool played with two 18-year-old centre-backs and they still showed composure and solidity. On the Chicago training camp, he went on to say he spoke about how happy he was to be back in Chicago, because when he was there with Bournemouth, they were there for 2 weeks, and he said it's really, really nice. You can go, it's a nice city, you can go out for a coffee, you can go out for dinner, and the people are really respectful. But he now understands what the size of Liverpool is and what it's all about. He said it's the same, he said, as last season. He said, but it's still huge. He said he hopes Liverpool finish the training camp properly against Leeds. Then he went on to speak about wingers switching sides. He spoke about Rio and Gamoa and playing on the right hand side. He said wingers need to have the ability to play on both sides. He said Liverpool's team isn't symmetrical. He said sometimes one winger defends and the other winger plays higher. He said, and if you can play on both sides, you get more minutes. He said pre-season is the time to test this. He said any winger arriving in the transfer window would need to be versatile. And then he went on to speak about Alexander Isak. He said he was asked about Alexander Isak, and he said he's very important. He's coming in a good place. He's looking good. He's had a good World Cup, and in training he's looking sharp. He said he might get the minutes against Leeds and build a proper pre-season. He's going to be massive for Liverpool. August uncertainty. He then went on to speak about August, and he said he doesn't like the month of August. He hates it because the Premier League season starts and you don't know who's coming in and who's leaving. And he's got a fair point there, to be fair. I think he's hit the nail on the head. Liverpool should have their transfer business done way before the season starts. And with only 3 weeks to go, they've got one body through the door, and we still need 5 or 6. And I don't see that happening at all. I think Michael Edwards, who's departed the club, and Richard Hughes and the powers that be have let Liverpool Football Club down this season massively, and they've let the fan base down. And all this will come back to bear fruit when the season gets underway. You just watch what's going to happen, because am I confident? I don't think we'll challenge for the title, that's for sure, and I certainly don't think we'll finish in the top 4. But I would love it if we are proved wrong. But from what I've seen at the moment, and from the business that we are doing, I seriously can't see Liverpool finishing in the top 4. It will be a miracle if we did that, because they've not strengthened the squad and players have left, and Liverpool are massively weakened. They've not even replaced Mo Salah, and he's one of the greatest players Liverpool have ever had, and to not replace him, and he's been gone since March and we're now in August, is absolutely disgusting. It's despicable. But that's on John Henry and FSG, simple as that for me. But then he went on to transfers, and Gilberto Moro's been linked with Liverpool again. The young man from Mexico, 15 clubs are in for him, but his name is being talked about again. Liverpool and people are wondering if the young man from Mexico is going to be moving to Europe. Then Liverpool again been touted with a £60 million bid for Bournemouth forward Rayan, but his release clause doesn't kick in till 2027, and with Junior Krupa being injured now for the next 3 to 4 months, I think it's highly unlikely that Bournemouth will be allowing this young man to leave. I think if Liverpool sign him, it is going to be in the summer of 2027, or if we're lucky, in January. But Harvey Elliott and Luke Chambers have been linked with moves to West Ham. Luke Chambers looked good last night, even though he played at centre half, and he's a left back, and he's probably third choice after Kwanzaa, after Costa Simicas, and Milos Kerkez. But I don't think Luke Chambers is going to get a career at Liverpool. He's already been out on loan 4 times, and if you've been out on loan 4 times and you still come back and you're not a regular starter, you're not going to make a career at Liverpool. I think it's time that you look elsewhere, and I think Liverpool should actually move the young man on for the sake of him and his career. But over to France, and PSG and Monaco have sealed the transfer of Magnus Akalush. Minor details are being sorted out. The agreement has been reached with both teams. So could this see the transfer of Bradley Barcola from PSG to Liverpool accelerate? This is one I'll be keeping an eye on in the coming days. And Mainz are back in the news. The director of Mainz has said that if a right offer is put on the table, then Keishu Son could leave the club for around £60 million. He's been linked with a move to Liverpool, but he's just another name in the melting pot, so it's one to keep an eye on. Also, another centre-half been linked with a move to Liverpool today is Aston Villa's Henry Konza. I think he'd be a great signing for Liverpool, and he'd team up extremely well with Virgil van Dijk. But also with John Stones going to Inter Milan, as I said yesterday, could that see Liverpool go for Bastoni, who Liverpool were linked with in April, as mentioned by Fabrizio Romano. Also, Nico Slotterbeck, and he's one that I've been championing for the last 2 seasons or so. I think Slotterbeck should be on Liverpool's books already, but that's just my opinion. Anyhow, Virgil van Dijk, I think he's under pressure this season. Yep, he's 35, but if he gets injured, Liverpool's back 4 are scuppered. Because who've they got? They've got Leone, they've got Jeremy Jacquet, Joe Gomez, Cinderella, as I call him, because he's got a glass back, and how he's done 10 years at Liverpool, the mind boggles, it really does. But I think Joe Gomez should say thank you very much, see you later sunshine, away you go. But Harvey Elliott came out and said he's uncertain about his future, and he's just concentrating on trying to get a solid place in the squad and a place in the team. But he's been linked with a move to Leeds United yesterday, and now West Ham have come knocking on the door. I think if Liverpool receive a decent offer, I think Harvey Elliott could be heading out of Liverpool permanently. Also Curtis Jones and Alexis McAllister, their futures are also uncertain, and Alexis McAllister, I think the best days are behind him, and I think Liverpool really need to move him on. But Liverpool are not going to sign a central midfielder until one of the three I've just mentioned actually goes through the exit door. And looking at the antics of Curtis Jones last night, well, people can make of it what you will. I think it's just a footballer who's passionate, who's basically, he's an elite athlete, and when you're in competition, the adrenaline flows. Something upset him last night. I'm not too sure what it was, but I'm taking that with a pinch of salt, and it's nothing too serious. And I think that would have been put to bed in the dressing room straight afterwards last night. So I wouldn't read too much into it personally for me. But moving on, as I've just said, Liverpool have got a lot of transfer business to do, but can you actually see Liverpool making any moves in this transfer window? Can you see them bringing the 5 or 6 in that we actually were talking about when the window opened, what, 5 weeks ago? 5 weeks in, and we've got one signing through the door, Victor Nunez, and that's it basically. So how are you feeling going into the season, Reds? Let me know in the comments below. And who should Liverpool target first? Should it be a right back? They should go for first? Example, Jed Spence, who's been linked with a move to Liverpool, or should it be a centre back? And more interestingly enough, we've not signed the right winger yet, and probably one of the greatest players to play in Premier League football has not been replaced. So you can answer that yourselves. I'm not going to get angry about it or frustrated. It's not my money. I don't spend it. But if it was, everything would have been done now, and the 5 or 6 players that we were looking for would have all been in America on pre-season. I can guarantee you that. But that's it from me for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And I will see you on the next one. So, as I always say, once a red, always a red. And remember, you'll never walk alone. And I will see you very, very shortly. So from me and the Spying Clock, thanks for watching and goodbye for now.